Hello, everyone. My name is Marco Calmasini. I'm a product manager in the Backup and Recovery Technologies group. And what I'm going to share in a moment is a short introduction and a demo of deploying the Oracle Secure Backup product in OCI using the OCI Marketplace. It's not meant to be a full presentation of the whole Oracle Secure Backup product and features, etc. It's more kind of example or a quick start, if you want, guide on how to deploy it, to show you how easy and fast it can be to start backing up the OCI Compute Instances using Oracle Secure Backup. So let's get started. For those of you that don't know what Oracle Secure Backup is, so the Oracle Secure Backup has been around for quite some time, a few years, and it's a traditional kind of backup software. By traditional, I mean it's based on an admin server, so a server where you install the Oracle Secure Backup software, and that becomes the kind of the control point of the whole environment. From there, you can manage backup, manage devices, etc. It has different components. The one that you see in the red squares in this diagram here on the right are the components that are relevant to using it in OCI. Being a complete software product, it can obviously manage tape libraries, for example, or disk storage. It can be used on premises. It's used by many Oracle customers on premises to back up Oracle databases. We will focus here on file system data and again, how to protect the OCI compute instances. But it can also be deployed in hybrid environments. For example, it has additional features or capabilities like staging and vaulting, so moving data from one type of target to another, so on premises to the cloud, etc. And again, being a traditional software product, it's licensed. So the OCI Compute, the OCI Marketplace image you deploy is a kind of BYOL. You can deploy it from the marketplace, but you need to have licenses, and the licenses are based on the number of streams that you use concurrently. Okay. If there are questions on other Oracle Secure Backup related, obviously at the end, you can ask them. So why OSB in OCI? So in OCI we provide very good integration, automation, etc. to protect the Oracle database services, the base database service, the Exadata database service, autonomous databases, all have their own automation to protect the database data. It's based on RMAN and object storage. It's been since the beginning like that. Just recently, it's going live this day. We introduced a new service for the Oracle database, which is the Zero-Day Loss Autonomous Recovery Service, or RCV or ZRCV. It's a recovery appliance-based type of service, so it has more features, policy-based, and continuous protection through real-time redo transport, etc. It's a kind of advanced version for the Oracle database. But when customers move their workloads to OCI, they don't move only databases. They have other application servers. Sorry, they have other type of data that's not residing inside the database that they want to protect. And again, compute instances, for example, the data is in compute instances. The question is, okay, how do we protect this data? On OCI Compute, you can, through the service itself, create block volume backups, but you have to manage those backups individually in each compute instance, first of all, and also, sorry, and also, there's no file level protection. There's no file level catalog information. You cannot browse and search a catalog. It says, I wanted to store a file that was on this file system, on this volume on this instance, and you cannot do it that easily, right? On XRCS, similarly, you don't even have this capability. So there is basically no solution, or at least there is no solution that is customer manageable, customer controlled. Okay, customer cannot schedule, I don't know, a daily backup of the Oracle Home on their XRCS systems. And then we have file share services. File share services is a DAS type service where you can create file shares that you mount on your compute instances. And again, there's the snapshot based type of backup that you can create, but again, like for compute instances, no way of having a catalog that you can use, search and see your file versions, etc. Okay. And this is what we are trying to address with Oracle Secure Backup, which can cover all these things, right? There are already around 300 customers using Oracle Secure Backup to do exactly that. They are managed by the Oracle Managed Cloud Services folks, and the total of this environment or the different environments being protected is around 7,000 clients, right? Mostly Linux, 5,500 Linux, 1,500 Windows. They take 7,000 full backups during the weekends, 39,000 incremental backups running the week on weekdays, and they are currently using around 10 petabytes of storage. So there are 10 petabytes of backup data protected by OSB already in OCI, and good for them. They don't restore very frequently. That around 10 restores per month is what is being done today. So to simplify and make it easy for everyone to use and take advantage of Oracle Secure Backup, we created this image in the marketplace. It's to simplify deployment, basically. So it's a standard Oracle Secure Backup 18.102, which is the current version, admin server. It is installed automatically the first time. The installation starts automatically the first time you log in. So you deploy it from OCI. I will show you in a moment. From OCI Marketplace. First time you log in, the installation starts automatically. Takes just a few seconds, and you only answer basically 3 questions. You specify the admin password and the keystroke password you want to use, and that's it. And the admin server is deployed. The cloud devices must be configured manually. So once the installation is done, you have to configure the target device. You decide the bucket or buckets you want to use, the region you want the buckets to be related, compartment, etc. And then you just with 1 command or 2 commands, you set up the target device. One thing that must be done or must be taken care of is that obviously the admin server must communicate with the media servers and the clients you want to configure, clients where you install your agent. And for this reason, the ports that Oracle Secure Backup uses must be opened on the VCN security lists and also on the local firewalls of the compute instances. So the appropriate IP tables or firewall D, depending on the image version, that on the client version, if you want to client OS version, must be used. In the OSB admin server image that is deployed, we included Ansible playbooks to install the clients automatically. So once the installation is complete, you can use this playbook, just customize the whole files. And again, I will show you in a moment how that's done. It's very easy. And then you can automatically deploy the Oracle Secure Backup agents to the client. That is an easy step-by-step guide that we prepared, so you can follow the guide if you want, and in a few minutes it's up and running. specifically on the networking and the ports that must be prepared. So Oracle Secure Backup uses port 400 and port 10,000. Those must be opened on the admin server that is deployed. That's already taken care of. On the clients, it must be done before you use the Ansible script to push the agent. We noticed that certain applications and Oracle e-business suite specifically, but maybe other, claim port 10,000, which is a standard NDMP port, but for some reason they decided to use that one, and then so it's not available on those servers. Instead of working and trying to change the business suite configuration, etc., it's easier to just change the NDMP port on that specific client or clients that has this type of situation. There is a patch that's need to be installed, and then you can change the OSP port to any other open ports that you want to use. In addition to that, 410,000, an additional set of ports must be open for the regular communication between admin servers, clients, and media servers, etc. And on the server, on the admin server that we deploy, we already opened in the local firewall ports 50,000 to 5,100 for this purpose. This is a simple example of how to do that. You can use this one if you want. You can use a different set. You can customize it however you like, and you follow these rules basically, and you can do it, or you can just use exactly the scripts on the client. The script on the clients. You can integrate this if you want in the whatever automation software or configuration management software you're using. We didn't include this part in the Ansible script, but you can customize the Ansible script that we provide if you want. Okay. The Ansible playbooks that are provided are for now for Linux only. That's the only operating system kind we support. So if you have Windows clients, you can still install the client on that, but you have to do it manually. It's located in the OSB_playbooks directory in the home directory of OPC user. There is an installation and also an uninstallation script or playbook that you can use. And again, if you want to customize it, you can customize it. Okay, I see a question from, is it available in the OCI government cloud? Yes, I mean, you can deploy it there, or at least that's I will show you in a moment. So let's go there directly, and okay. And I will show you what it looks like. So the actual marketplace part is nothing different than any other marketplace product. So if you use the OCI Marketplace before, you will see that it's no different here. Okay. You can search for Oracle Secure Backup, obviously, and you find it in the catalog. And on the bottom part here, and under related documents, you'll find the Marketplace Deployment Guide, which is the guide I was mentioning earlier. You can just click on it and you'll find it. And obviously, you can refer to the official Oracle Secure Backup documentation. If you want to deploy it, you just click Get the App. And here you see, if you select government region, you can select the government region where you want to deploy it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You sign into your account. You click here. If you sign in already, it goes there, like in this case. Otherwise, it asks you to log in. You select the version. This is the later version, the compartment where you want it to go. You accept the terms and conditions, and then you can click Launch Instance. Okay. Oh, sorry. This user doesn't have permission to go there. At this point, you specify the instance name, the compartment where you want it to go. And again, this is a normal deployment of a compute image if you want. This is just because, as I was saying before, this user doesn't have permissions to list everything, but it doesn't matter. It's a restricted user that can only work on this compartment, but we don't need this. You specify the shape of the server that or the VM that you want to use. You specify the networking, okay, compartment, and the VCN you want to use. And again, this is normal. Add SSH keys, and that's it. And you click create, and your server is deployed. Okay? Nothing weird or strange on this. Once you are done with this, you can log in for the first time. And at this point, I will show you what happens with this short video I prepared. And I said how to deploy and start backing up compute instances in 15 minutes. And this is actually how long this took. Okay, and we'll go all the way from the first login to doing the first backup of your compute instances. Okay, so here we are. We log in, we SSH. Oh, the other thing I want to mention, okay, let me pause a second here. Well, okay, let's let it go, and I will explain this in a moment. So we log in for the first time, and as you see, the installation starts automatically, and it says, okay, you need if you want to rerun again or you stop it, you have to rerun it manually. And it really takes a few seconds. It's asking what do you want to install. Obviously, it's admin server and client. You specify the admin email address. This is the email that is used to send reports and those kind of things. We don't need to change any advanced settings. We enter the password, the key store password, and which is used for encryption purposes, and obviously you have to remember those passwords, and the admin password, which is the admin user, okay, which is at least the user that you need, and you can create additional users if you want later, etc. But that's the first one. So you retype the password, and it just takes a few seconds. And at this point, we have our OSB admin server installed. Okay, now you see we use this OB tool, which is our command line. You can use the web console, the web tool if you want. You can integrate and use it with Enterprise Manager if you're using Enterprise Manager. But we noticed that most of the customers are using the command line in OCI because you don't have to open additional ports or set up networking so that you can use the web interface, etc. And also the fact that you can do everything, as I will show you. We will only use the command line in this demo. You can do everything from there. Makes it very easy to integrate this with any configuration management tool that you are using in the cloud. So it's in the end, it's more efficient, right? If you are managing a cloud environment, to just SSH into the admin server or any client, if you want, you can use the OB tool for the clients, and use it like this. So the first thing we are going to do now is we want to add the media server role to the admin server, so we can use it to manage our target device, the OCI buckets. And now you see that this has the client, the admin server, the client, and the media server role. The next thing we are doing is adding the private key to SSH into the client. This is not necessary for Oracle Secure Backup. So to run backup and restore operation, you don't need to have the private key to access the clients installed or configured on the admin server. We are only, or it's in our case, it's needed for Ansible to be able to push and install the agents to the client. Yeah, the typo here. It should be 600 and not 660. So we created the private key so we can push. You can, if you want, remove it after the agents have been installed. the clients. We customize the Ansible hosts file, which is part of provided as in the same OSB playbooks directory. Okay. Here you only see there is the install, but supposed to be also the uninstall playbook. So what you need to do, just a couple of things to customize. One, you enter the admin host, so the server that you just deployed, host name on this line. So I'm gonna just replace it and enter the admin server host name here. Okay. Then we enter the private key file, so the file where we just put our private key, so we can SSH into the clients to install the agents. And then you only have to provide a list of the client host names where you want to install. Okay, you see there are two sections here. Okay, the Linux clients is where we want to install the actual OSB client that we want to configure as clients. And then there is the Linux media server section where you specify the media server or media servers you want to use, if any, on kind of small to medium environments. You may be okay with just using the admin server as also as a media server. And if you remember, we did it as a first step. We also made this admin server a media server for this domain. But in case you want additional media server, and I will add one here just for example, you can list them here. Okay. The customers, we know that I mentioned before. I know that on average they just use the media server for up to 30 clients. Obviously, it depends also on the size of the clients and the amount of data you're backing up, etc. But in general, 30, probably 50 clients you can manage just using the admin server as a media server. So we're done. We customize the host file, and at this point, we run the Ansible playbooks. Okay, and you just enter. Okay, there's the command Ansible playbooks. We specify the playbook itself, the OSB install Linux playbook, and then you specify the host file, and it runs. It asks for the OSB admin user and the password, which is the password you specified at installation time that you saw before, and then we run it. And this also in a minute. We'll just connect to the client, deploy the agent, which is what it is doing now. It will install the OSB client software on each compute instance that we specified, and it will also configure then OSB, and so that okay, here it is. It's done. It configures OSB. So now we have this 4 clients and a media server. So now the clients are deployed. What we're going to do, we create the target device. As I was saying before, it must be created manually. Here we see that now we have the admin server, we have 4 clients, and we have a media server that we just deployed in our domain. So we are ready to create the client. The first thing to do is create what we call the authentication object, where we store the information on the key used to connect to object storage. Obviously, this can be different. I'm using the same one because I configured it all in the same way, but this may be different. This is the user that is used to authenticate against the object storage service to send backups. It's a user that must be allowed to create buckets because we'll create a bucket in a moment, and to manage the bucket and manage the objects in the bucket. Okay. So once that's done, we have the authentication object, so we can run the make dev command, which is the commands to create our target device. Target device which is a cloud storage type. You specify the media server. We only specify the admin server as media server here. You specify the class. You see this is infrequent access. You can use standard object storage. You can use archive storage, whatever you prefer. The container is the actual bucket that is being created. And the destination is the URL, sorry, specifies the region where you want it to go, which is the object storage endpoint, sorry. And that's it. And when you run this, the storage device is created, and we're good. We have everything we need to start backing up our clients. Okay. Again, this is our domain. Okay, we have the admin, the media server, admin server, the clients, etc. The OB tool, the command line can be used either directly, as you see here, with OB tool command, or you can use kind of interactive mode, like in this way. Just enter OB tool and then you run the commands directly from here. We list the devices that we have. We have the device called OSB Cloud Demo, which is a cloud storage device, and it's active. You can do it a long list if you want to get more details and see again the bucket name, the storage class, infrequent access, and the URL, which shows the region where the bucket is located. Okay, and we're ready to run and configuring the actual backups. And the backups are configured to what we call data sets. Okay, and data sets is defining what you want to backup. In this example, we include the host, 3 hosts, OSB, OCW1, OCW2. We want to backup the root file system for those. We also backup the root system on the third host, which is OCW3. And only for this one, we also add these additional file system var all it. This can be, let me pause for a second here. This can become obviously a lot more complicated. You can specify inclusion, exclusions, file types, whatever. It's not the purpose of, again, as we said before, showing all the detailed features here. But and here I just wanted to quickly show how to start a backup. But this can become more complicated, and in the OSP documentation, you'll find all the syntax on how to create those data sets. They can be recursive. You can include data sets into a data set. So, but yeah, documentation, we show everything here. We just show that we will back up the root file system for all these 3 hosts, and for the third one, we also add another file system. We start the backup. Yeah, obviously either we use OB tool or we are in interactive mode. Okay, and we run the backup command. We want to do a full backup using the OSB Cloud Demo device that we just created. We want to backup this data set. So what the content is, we specified it there, low compression, and we're ready to go. And as you see, the backup is running now. We let it run. It's in the end, it's not a lot of data. These are empty compute instances. It's just a few gigabytes. And so the backup runs, and it should be done in a moment. Let me see if there's other. Okay, I'm probably not sure what we meant here, but we'll get to the questions later so we can talk better. Okay, so yeah, LSJ is not returning, so there are no jobs running. It means it's finished. You can list the backup. You see we have these 3 backups for these 3 clients, 2.5 gigabytes, they're just empty. The third one is 2.7 because there is that additional file system that I specified. You can get a long list if you want more details on what these backups are. Right? Again, can look at the documentation to find all the options that you have for all these commands. Okay, so now we want in this example find a search for a file in this. Okay, and again we just use the command line, and the find command that says, okay, I want to find for any Java file or directory. You can specify if you want only files of all the directories. In this case, we just find everything on host OSB OCW3. Okay, so we do a find on this host. The path of slash means starting from the root of what you have, and I want to find Java, and you see you get a list of files named Java in the backup for OSB OCW3. Through the OB tool, you can really navigate through the catalog inside and browse the catalog, okay, like you are in a normal in that file system. You can use CD, so you do CD host 3 and you point to that host, and then you do CD. So if we want to go and find this Java, and you want to restore something from this Java location directory, and the first one that's listed here, you can just do CD. Okay, you do CD etc pki ca trust, and you navigate and you see this is the content of the catalog. And this is where we only have one backup. Otherwise, you would see if you have different versions, or if you have files. Oops, sorry. If you have files that are only on one backup, it will show you where it is. Here we are again. And now it says, okay, I want to restore this README file here from this extracted directory. Okay, and you just do the restore to host MP3. So I want to restore this not to the original host, but here locally on the admin server where I am working now. I want to restore the README file, and I want to put it in /tmp. And you just start the restore here, and it takes obviously a few seconds. It's a small file. You see the job is completed now, and we can go and go to the temp directory and see that obviously our README file is there. It's obviously a very simple and oversimplified, if you want, example here. There are a lot more things and details, but you can find them in the documentation that was linked initially. And you can see it's 15 minutes, and in 15 minutes we set up the OSP admin server, we configured the target device, we pushed the agents to the 5 or 4 clients and the media server, and we did the backup, and also we did the restore of a simple file. So again, it's really easy to solve the requirement that I was mentioning initially, which is, okay, in addition to my databases, I need to backup and restore my file system data as well. And Oracle Secure Backup can help you with this. I have a couple more things that I want to mention, and then we can open for Q&A if you want. So what's coming up, right? We are trying to focus a lot on these OCI use cases, and so the things that I mentioned here are all directed at providing more features and more integration with OCI services. For example, the support for image level backup of the block storage volumes with single file store capabilities, which means integrated with the OCI storage services in order to initiate block volume image level backups, but still collecting and retaining catalog information on the actual file contained here, and being able to search or browse the catalog for certain files or certain file versions and initiate single file restore based on those OCI block volume backups. We are looking at integrated with VMware volumes or VM images in OCVS, which is the OCI service for VMware data centers. We will be adding client direct to object storage, meaning moving away from the media server concept. No need to specify media server and have the traffic go through media servers, so from the client to the media server and from the media server to the object storage bucket, but just having each individual client, if you want, be able to connect and send the backups directly to the bucket used by that cloud device that was created. We're going to have support for immutable buckets, so retention rules, OCI retention rules on buckets to make backups immutable for compliance or ransomware protection of those type of use cases. Looking at the ability for people or customers using multiple domains to manage them in a centralized way, and the new more efficient and more powerful catalog database for very large environments. So that's what will come up. To summarize, okay, so why we think it could be a good idea to look at OSB for OCI workload. First of all, it's an Oracle product, so it's a single vendor. If there's any problem with backup, restore, object storage, integration, etc., okay, it's all Oracle, and can manage this from as a single vendor. The OCI focus that I mentioned, we are really trying to improve the way we integrate with OCI and OCI services specifically. It's very easy to deploy. It can be integrated with automation. The fact that I was mentioning that doing everything, 100% of what you can do with OSB can be done through the command line. So you can integrate it with any configuration management software you're using. There are no capacity charges at this time, at least for Oracle Secure Backup. As I say, it's a licensed product. So once you're licensed, you can store how many petabytes of data you want, and you will be paying only for the object storage consumption. And it can really help in hybrid environment. Again, we only looked at OCI now, but you can, from this same environment that I just set up, I could have easily added on-premises clients, for example. If you want to, you can deploy an on-premises media server and have the data remain local to on-premises, but still being managed by this OCI-based admin server. Again, if it's a hybrid world, you can create staging rules of things. So you can do local backups to a local on-premises disk array and periodically move them to object storage. If you want to restore them in OCI, if you want. We also had customers that migrated a lot of long-term retention tapes that they have on premises on physical tape libraries, and using OSB, they just migrated all those tape content to OCI object storage, and they removed the on-premises tape library. So that's another use case that we've been working on. So there are a lot of possibilities. It opens up a lot of possibilities when you're dealing with both OCI only and hybrid environments. Some references here. There is the Oracle Secure Backup web page where you can find compatibility matrices and some other information. Link to the documentation, link to the marketplace that you just saw. The link to the marketplace OSB deployment guide, but it's also in the marketplace page itself. And there is also an additional document that focuses only specifically on how to set up cloud storage devices that you can find either through the Oracle Secure Backup web page or from this link here. So when you get the presentation, you'll be able to click on those links and go to those documents. This is pretty much it of what I wanted to show today. If there are questions, you can obviously unmute yourself and speak up. Otherwise, I will try to go through the Q&A that are still open here and address them. So Daniel says, an example of flexibility in where the actual backup data is stored. Not sure I get this, so if you want, Daniel, you can unmute yourself and clarify. The actual backup data is stored in an OCI bucket, which is the bucket we specified when we ran the command to create the cloud storage device. Okay. Oh, okay. Follow up to earlier question. So I should look at the earlier question. But yeah, anyway, the data in this case is stored in an OCI object storage bucket with or in a infrequent access if you want storage class. But you can use standard, you can use archive if you want.
Hey, Marco, I think the question was more about flexibility for OSB deployment, whether it's in the cloud or on-prem. Can we manage backups from one place in cloud or on-prem?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for clarifying. As I was saying before, if you have a hybrid environment, you can deploy the admin server where you like, can be on premises, can be in the cloud, and it can have clients and media servers in both places, in the cloud and on premises, and you can move your data how you like. You can have, for example, an on premises target device on disk on a NAS share, for example, where you do your local backups fast or the ZFS or any other NAS, and you can use OSB automated policies to move data from that device to a cloud-based device in object storage. And you can change the retention. We didn't talk about retention, but obviously we have all the retention management capabilities. So you can configure backups so that they stay on premises on a local on-premises NAS for 15 days, and then they are copied or moved to the object storage bucket where they are kept for an additional 90 days, a year, whatever. Right? You can do all this kind of things. It's totally flexible what you can and want to do. Is it possible to take SQL Server database backups? Okay, we don't have a native integration like we have for Armin, for example, with SQL Server. So what you can do, you can back it up as a file system. Either you pause it or you can export or do a SQL Server backup locally, and then you can sweep and pick up the SQL Server backup files with OSB and move them where you like. We are looking into, and I didn't have in the roadmap there, but we are also looking into the VSS integrations, so that maybe will become an option when we have the VSS more ready to go, if you want, the VSS integration capabilities. Julian, that's a very good question. Now, does OSB compare versus popular backup tools such as NetBackup or Commvault? Okay. The basic product architecture is very similar. Okay, NetBackup, I call it master server, we call it admin server, but the way they work is very similar. You have your main server, and then you have the media servers, and then you deploy the client agents. So it's very similar from that perspective. What those products provide more, if you want, is that they, like in the question that I just answered, if you want to have a native integration with SQL Server, you can have that and use that. The difference that those are a lot heavier, more complicated to manage, and also a lot more expensive. And if we look at the OCI deployment, a lot of those features are not necessary and not used, right? Because as I was saying, in this case, we have other tools that we use for databases, and we focus basically on Linux or Windows file system, and that we can do in a very easy way, quick deployment, lightweight product. You see it installed really in seconds, and again, we went all the way from setting it up to doing backup and restore in 15 minutes. So cost and flexibility of management is probably the advantages I would mention in our case. Okay. This was answered. This was answered. Okay. Okay, versus Commvault Metallic. A similar situation, right? Commvault Metallic is I think we should look at it into a more comprehensive situation, okay? Where you look at the workload, customer moving to OCI that want to back up their databases and the file system as well. So I think the combination of what we can offer in terms of being able to protect databases and clients is better if you go with our integrated backup automation, especially with the new recovery service, and complement it with Oracle Secure Backup. At that point, there's no need to have a product which is a SaaS-based, but it's a totally different product. It's a SaaS-based. It runs in Azure. You can deploy the client and integrate on OCI, but still, it's something that runs outside of OCI, and only for protecting compute instances, file systems. It's probably an overkill, and it becomes less convenient if you want to back up Oracle databases. Backing up Oracle databases with Metallic, it does not compare at all. It's not even close to using the new recovery service that we provide, right? So overall, I think it is a much better, less expensive. Also, Metallic, you pay for the amount of data you store for file systems. So it's more convenient, in my opinion, to go with RCV plus OSB for compute instances rather than going with Metallic. But yeah, up to you. I understand that if you are using Commvault already and are happy with that, and you're using Commvault on premises and want to continue using it, then yeah, that may be a solution for you. But number of questions? Okay, then thank you, everyone. If you have follow-up questions at a later time, you can go to the Ask Tom website and you can enter questions there. And we'll try to answer if we can online, or address that on one of the next Ask Tom sessions. So thank you everyone for listening, and have a good day.